I've decided, you know how, ooh, those almost match. You know how they say you should take Prevagen for memory loss? Really what you should do is try to play memory with socks. I'm not kidding you. How could we have this many? And some of them are dirty. And they were in the clean sock drawer. That was lazy. These socks are all different. They're all white. Wait. Nope, not a match. They're similar, like a Nike short, an Adidas, an Adidas. Oh, here's two that match. Two that are dirty and match. You know what? We don't care. Dirty counts. Under Armour, a little bit of a different Under Armour. Some other random thing, and I don't know what those are. There's more. How is everybody? Is everybody surviving Christmas Eve? So this has been kind of a different Christmas. Amos had the flu for a while, so he is much better, which is great. But just to be on the safe side, we are not going to take him to church tonight. So he and Mommy are going to take one for the team and stay home. I mean, here's another one. So you know what I'm going to do with all these socks? And the world's going to go, oh, I saw this one. Look, memory. I'm going to throw them away. That's what I'm going to do. And I don't care who complains about it. Somebody would love to have those socks. I'm just waiting for the comment. Go ahead and make it so I can be ready. Do you have a breakfast casserole? Oh, you have breakfast casserole. Well, fortunately, none of these match. And they're all freaking white. Wait, I just saw one. Yeah, so we're gonna stay home, and which is sort of secretly excited. Just put them together and let them wear them anyway. No, because then they just haunt me. Then this happens again and again and again, and I'm tired of it. Oh, a match. Take them to the homeless shelter. Safety pin mates together, wash and dry. I'd like to see me getting safety pins. Now, I love these socks. I'm not throwing that out. And I love this sock. And I don't know where the other one is. You only throw out grungy socks. You ain't met me yet. Oh, here's another one. Look at this tiny little bag. And these, now this is a topic here. What do you do with the old mask you have? You know, these masks that we know don't work, the cloth ones? What are you supposed to do with these things? You could turn them into ponytail holders, head wraps. Actually, kind of like that. Could be a new look. Swiffer the floor with them. Are you crazy? No, I'm not Swiffering the floor. Socks. Throw all these socks away. Going into the throwaway sock pile. And I am not going to feel guilty about it. Not for a minute. Those safety pins would burn coming out of your dryer. My dryer already has problems. It has, I thought that, well, anyway, I was like, there's an iron. Is an iron getting a hold of these pants? But no, there's no iron. My dryer has like this metal, I used to love these socks, and there's only one. This metal piece in the back of the dryer, and it burns pants. Legit burns pants. So, now Blair might not mind if those don't match. She's not as picky about matching. Merry Christmas Eve. I'm doing a lot of laundry today since I'm on homebound. Homebound. I hope everybody else is going to church, though. Oh my gosh, it's terrible. Put them in a hose bag. Make a bra. I mean, this is the laundry situation here. And then the laundry, I've got the world's largest blanket on the porch trying to dry. Trying to wash bedding. You know how when people have been sick, everything's just, ugh. So that's where we are. Oh, more. Oh, this stuff's not even dry. Do that again. Shoot. Thing hadn't been running. Merry Christmas. Have a safe trip and have fun with your family. I think we will have fun. I think we will have fun. I hope everybody else does. Boy, I heard something really worrisome today. There has been drugs, drugs around Christmas are always drugs, and fentanyl is a huge concern everywhere. And Wilmington, North Carolina is the largest drug trafficking port on the East Coast. Isn't that interesting? Why the mask? These are old masks I'm throwing out. And there evidently was a shipment of drugs that came into my county, Edenton, Chowan County, and 4 people have died in the last 10 days. 4 people. And somebody said, and I heard it was marijuana laced, which would be very unusual from what I know about fentanyl. But it could be possible, but very unusual. 4 people in one county. We have 10,000 people live here. It is not very big. So that makes me sad. I think fentanyl it's one thing to do drugs, and it's another thing to be killed with fentanyl, Maybe you think, oh, I'm just going to do a little of this or a little of that, and all is well. And that's not what happens. Everyone thinks the drugs are coming from Mexico. Well, they're coming into Wilmington from somewhere. I don't know where. It used to be Chicago, and now it's Wilmington. But yes, there are a lot of drugs coming from Mexico, according to this DEA agent that I keep on speed dial. And he said that within 5 miles of every public school in the state of North Carolina, there is a drug house. And the whole goal of the drug house is to recruit people to sell and take drugs. And so if they recruit 100 kids and get one person, then they make money. They make money. So, and how they get you, and so you might think, well, my children don't do drugs. Well, a lot of what we know, I did this campaign with MedIQ, a lot of what we know is that maybe your child goes to college. I have a child going to college next year, and they are an athlete, and that's wonderful. They're going to college on a lacrosse scholarship, and you're thrilled. Well, they have a little bit of an injury, and they just don't want to talk to you about it. So their friend says, hey, I have some Vicodin. Do you want one? I know you have an injury from that surgery. And your child thinks, well, I had Vicodin when I had my surgery, or I had Percocet. I had Oxycontin. I mean, my son had knee surgery and was took painkillers appropriately with my, overseeing. And your child says, yeah, I'll have one. And there's fentanyl in it. Was your child a drug addict? No. Was your child a bad person? No. Was your child murdered? Yes. So then you have what happened, like my brother. What happened to your brother? He died of cancer. Well, everybody says, well, that's terrible. You died of cancer. That's terrible. Well, then when you say, well, my child died of a drug overdose, and people are like, well, that's what you get. That's really how people's brains think. And this is very different. So that's why you'll hear accidental fentanyl drug overdose or fentanyl poisoning, because people are being poisoned. And Jane, my daughter, overdosed on fentanyl in April. She died 3 times and was brought back to life. Yes, Narcan is something that everybody should have around. I do not have any, but I probably should have some. I think it's so hard for us to think that this is somebody that we know, The DEA agent said they went to Mexico to see a facility where they were making the drugs, and it was entirely underground and bright light in there, and hundreds and hundreds of people packaging drugs. I mean, it is nuts. But these drug houses are, there's a lot of Americans, but the cartel is alive and well. It's a problem. The other thing he told me was, he said we were intercepting these calls, and they were doing these numbers and letters, and we were like, what is this? What are these numbers and letters? And they finally figured out it was latitude and longitude coordinates of a very nice neighborhood in Wilmington. And it was the addresses of teenagers that they had been following on Snapchat and Instagram, so that these were the kids they were targeting. True story. True story. Maybe you went to the bridge tender and you had lunch on a Sunday, and the guy's kind of watching you. And then the next Sunday, maybe he smiles at you, and the next Sunday, waves, and then the next Sunday has a nail in his tire, and you think, well, I know that guy, I've seen him, and then he says, oh, hey, I own a business where I do jumpy houses, and I'm always looking for teenagers to help me. If you could help on a Sunday, I pay $25 an hour. And then the kid goes home and says, hey, I met this guy, he has a jumpy house castle thing, and you're like, okay. Or maybe they come and do your younger child's birthday party, and you've hired the person, and they say, hey, would your teenagers want to work with us? Like, we'd love to pay them. And you think, well, this is a great way to make some money. And then you're groomed, much like you are in sex crimes. Groomed. They're probably picking someone that maybe doesn't have as many friends, or maybe is super popular, or maybe somebody that they feel like they can get. And maybe you take a pill and you feel good, and you get a teensy bit of something, and you want more. And so then you end up selling to pay for your habit. Cousin lost a son 2 years to go to fentanyl poisoning. Oh, there's just nothing worse than losing a child. And 4 families in my county have lost children this week to fentanyl. I have a son in recovery. My brother is a drug addict and overdosed several times, was just recently in ICU from fentanyl. Been dealing with his addiction since he was a teenager. Ugh. And that ain't easy. That is not easy. We have to keep reminding our children. So there's this friend of a friend I have. Laura Berman is her name. She's a friend of mine's friend. And she's pretty famous. She has kind of a blog. And her son, I think it's been 3 years ago, on Super Bowl day, was in his room hanging out just like anybody's 14, 15-year-old son. And the parent said, we're going to get DoorDash or something. Maybe it was even going to pick it up. And he said, I'll have a double cheeseburger from Five Guys. And the dad said, okay. And it was DoorDash. The order came, and he said, knocked on his door, come eat cheeseburgers. done it 100 times. Yelled, Thomas, Russell, dinner's here. And he doesn't come. So they go up there, and he is dead on his floor. Their child. And you know what he had done? He thought he was taking Percocet. He bought it on Snapchat and thought he was taking Percocet. It looked like Percocet. Why was he taking Percocet? I don't know. But you should be able to take a Percocet and not die, right? Fentanyl poisoning. Fentanyl poisoning. 2 boys. Now they have 1. Just found mushrooms in my son's backpack. It's always one thing or another. Don't know how to tell my husband. He just doesn't have a wall like I do. It will crush him. I can't live like this forever. Oh, Nifa. Well, I tell you what, I would reach out to somebody for professional help. I would reach out to somebody who really does know, like a drug counselor. I think it's so important. Don't think as a parent that you can handle this on your own, because I wouldn't know how to myself. I think honestly, my first thought would be to call my police chief, who's a friend, and say, what do I do? How do I do this? My oldest bought street pills containing fentanyl in 2019 and nearly died. My youngest was home and gave CPR until the paramedics arrived. He survived. None of us will ever be the same. No, I wouldn't think so. I wouldn't think so. You know, everything is fine until it's not, right? My friend lost her grandson Tuesday night. Exact same thing happened. Thought they were taking one thing, but instead it was fentanyl. You know, it's a beautiful day. I'm sitting here looking at this water, and people are planning funerals, you know, for this. And it's Christmas Eve. I don't understand why they would lace it and people die. Why would it be beneficial to drug dealers? So I'll tell you why I asked the same question. Because fentanyl is very, very cheap, and it is very addictive. So they use fentanyl when you have surgery. So fentanyl is used. It's a huge painkiller. So the idea of using fentanyl in something, if I sell you some Percocet and I put a little bit of fentanyl in it, my goal is not to kill you. My goal is just to have you come back for more. So you get just enough fentanyl, and you're like, holy cow, that's the best thing that ever happened to me. I need more of that. So that's the goal. That's the goal. It's not to kill people. It's to, but they don't know either. I lost 2 nephews last year, 19 and 23. Accidental fentanyl overdose, and the other one took enough fentanyl for a purposeful overdose. Oh, gosh. Everybody should have Narcan. You know, I don't know why I don't have Narcan. I have an EpiPen in case my daughter gets an allergic reaction. Fentanyl on the street, 50 cents. Yeah, fentanyl is like 30 times more lethal than heroin. And heroin, back when I was growing up, I mean, you know, you'd be like, there was nothing worse you could be than a heroin addict. I mean, you just pictured somebody with these needle marks and everything was terrible. And then it kind of moved to meth, right? Crystal meth. And now fentanyl is what we talk about. Small mining town of West Virginia. Everyone in the town was on it. Oh, I think I've seen that. You can get Narcan free from the pharmacy? Really? I didn't know that. Free from the pharmacy. Anyway, that's our public service announcement. Not very maybe Christmas Eve-y, even more than all this pile of socks. But you know, in the amount of time that I will spend to sort these socks, will I talk to my children about drug overdose and possible accidental poisoning? And the answer is yes, I will. But just make sure you do. It's so easy, because you don't want to lose your child in something that maybe could have saved them. You spend time putting their socks together, you put on sunscreen, you brush their hair, you help them brush their teeth, you spend all this time doing all these things. Talk to them about fentanyl. Talk to them. And have a Merry Christmas.